So I've been inspired to have some really interesting inspirations for the next pages that I can write. I was watching. First of all, there's loads of different pages I was thinking of writing. I need to write one about the Illuminati, just kind of explaining that there's kind of two Illuminatis, one that actually have the truth and one that are just pretending to have the truth, so that when people are saying stuff, they will see lies as being the truth. There does seem to be a group of people that are calling themselves the Illuminati, and they're claiming to have hidden knowledge, when really it's, in a way, they're just creating some sort of false Illuminati, kind of like the woke movement. There's a bunch of people that like to say, hey, I'm awoke, I'm awoke, and then they just start promoting things that are just like not really in line with the truth or anything, and I think the Illuminati are doing a similar. There's a fake one and a real one, but yeah, I think I need to do a page about one's higher self and one's lower self, because I've done a page about my higher self and my lower self. Now, my higher self is God and lives outside the time, outside the timeline. I don't really believe in all the dimensions that people talk about. Oh, you need to get into the fifth dimension. Once you've got yourself into the fifth dimension. This doesn't make sense. If some people are living in the fifth dimension and some people are living in the first dimension, and there's all these other dimensions, what the hell are all these different dimensions, and why is it that you can still communicate with each other if you're living? There isn't. There's a lower dimension, which is now, this moment in time, which, okay, every second it changes to a new moment, and we are all living in the same dimension because we can all communicate. It's like, here's 2D, here's 2D, here's 2D, but technically 3D is where you have loads of different 2Ds, and so we're all living in the same dimension, but my higher self is God, hence lives outside the dimension, and I think she has a certain control over the internet, because certain things seem to be coming through to my feeds, and I feel like I can watch a music video, and then look to the side to see what other songs have shown up on the sort of recommendation list, and often the songs or the song title or the people that they represent, the angels that they represent in the songs next to it, can link to this person and help me tell something about that person. And same with Facebook posts. I'm always finding that often when I post something on Facebook, I can look to see all these little tabs at the bottom, and it almost like tells a story, or even the adverts seem to link into what I'm saying. So it feels like, although I'm just making a post, I feel like my higher self is actually kind of talking through the internet about every post that I make, because every time I post something new, there seems to be a whole different, or often there's a whole different set of things around, and I feel like it all links. Sometimes it doesn't, so sometimes I try to ignore it, but sometimes I feel like that links to what I'm saying, that links to what I'm saying, okay, I think maybe I should screenshot this page just so that I can post it onto you and show you what I'm seeing. But it happens a lot. Like, often I see something that I could say that people are terrible, and then watch another clip of maybe someone watching a TV screen of a guy spanking his wife for doing something wrong, even though it wasn't actually that wrong, in front of his kids, and then he could like make it was a clip. He was just making a joke, and he was saying, I'm going to do the same to my partner, and then you just see him like in bandages, covered like he's been beaten up or something. Kind of, it was a joke comedy sketch that was kind of proving that if people nowadays were acting like people acted 40 years ago, they're going to get a very different response. It's not fine to beat your wife up for something silly and minor. I don't know what happened, but I think the guy tripped over, and he blamed his wife for talking to him at the wrong moment, hence causing him to trip, and so he spanked the wife for something stupid, and there was a kid in front of him. And that's the clip that I just saw, and I wanted to post it, but it kind of disappeared, but I felt like it tied in with what I was saying, and about how people are horrible, and yeah, so this clip that I saw was just taking that, and then kind of he re-mimicked it by saying, I don't know, the wife came in, said something she didn't like, and then he spanked her, but you didn't actually see the spanking part because it cut, and then you just saw him covered in bruises. Obviously she's attacked back, and I think the point of it was to say, for me, the point of it was to say that people in the past were very bad, even though they didn't realise it. And I don't know what it meant for him. It might have meant something different. He might have just seen it as a comedy sketch, where people are saying that you can't can't be like what you used to be. But is that a good or bad thing? You know, a lot of people preferred how it was in the past, you know, where you could beat your wife up for doing something stupid, and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of people that think that God is wrong for killing millions of people in the Bible. But if you knew what people were doing in the past and how awful they were, and you know, the number of rapes and number of just mistreatment of people, and you know, suddenly these innocent people who died by God's hand might have not actually been that innocent. It just that the Bible doesn't talk about the people that died and what they did wrong, you know, and therefore the Bible's just very misleading and very wrong, and it does portray God as being a monster. But if overpopulation is a problem and it's killing the world, then so a God that can kill is actually the savior. But yeah, technically I can't actually kill. Well, I can deceive people, but I need people's help to deceive, and that would make them want to, but it's not really me. But whatever. I just came across something today that has made me want to talking about people's higher self, because I think there's loads and loads of lies going around. So many people are spreading lies, and I think the main reason why people are spreading lies is because the spirit is trying to set up some sort of mass suicide thing. And yeah, I come across this video where it's a guy who's basically saying that he is God. And he's not. This is a lie. This is not a lie. It's not even okay to say that you're God. But by thinking you're a God, you're actually going to be encouraging people to leave, because they're going to have this belief that they are God. Hence, if they die, it will be them who decide their next life, them who decide where they go, them who make all the choices. You know, I don't think anyone, if you wanted to help people, I don't think you should preach to them that when they die they can control every aspect of their next life, because this is not the truth. This is not how the Matrix works. I have not been able to control anything in my life, even though I am God, and therefore if you think you're God and you think you can control everything in your life, you know, I think you're going to be very disappointed and very shocked. But yeah, I just want to talk about it and say what I think they've got wrong, because even though they got a lot of things wrong, they haven't got everything wrong. I think there's a lot of things in this that are right and a lot of things that are wrong. So I kind of just want to show it and say where I think is wrong and right.
Have you forgotten who you are? Oh God, help me. I'm nothing without you. Have you forgotten who you are? Who are you? I'm Chibugu. That is the name given to you by your parents. Who are you? Okay, I'm a creator. What kind of creator are you? I create content, a comedian, an editor, also a teacher. Those are the identities you gave to yourself. Who really are you?
Now, I definitely agree with this. Like, you are not just who you are in your current life. Every single person, unless you're living your first life as a human, has had many different lives. So who you are isn't just the name that your parents gave you. Because if you've had like 10 lives before, you have actually been given 10 names over the current, all of your lives. And who you are is actually a combination of all your lives mixed together. So if you've had 10 lives before, then you're actually kind of 10 people, but you have complete amnesia of who you were before. But if you're very skilled at things, or if you have certain beliefs, it might have stemmed from other past lives, and that sort of helped to form your soul. I don't know how souls work, but I kind of feel like maybe they're just like a ball of light, only an invisible ball of light. And as you have more and more lives, it might be a case that they get bigger and bigger. And I think this is how you can travel at the speed of light, but faster than the speed of light. If your soul is basically like a light particle, only it's a giant light particle, then if you were to travel at the maximum speed, the universe would actually be a lot smaller. because a light particle is tiny. But imagine if a light particle was the size of your hand. Well, you'd probably be able to travel far faster than the speed of light, because you would have that same energy that a light particle has, only you'll be considerably bigger, hence the universe would seem completely smaller. I don't know what it's called, but I saw a YouTube clip, a Facebook clip where someone said that was scaling energy, and I don't know what it is, but I think there might be truth to that. But I just want to make that clear, that I think that there is a point. Who you are isn't just who you are in your current life, it's who you are in all your lives. And if you want to say that I'm a zookeeper, or I'm a this or that, these are all things that you have chosen to be in your current life. But in your past life, you might have been something different. So it's not, your job is not who you are. It's only the skills that you are currently learning.
That is who I am now.
This is just him going into the Matrix. So I don't know what happens when you die, because I have no memory of it, but I believe that when you die, your soul leaves your body, and maybe you do enter into some sort of temporary world. I don't know. I can't tell you that part.
Where am I? Before you occupy the human body in the virtual world, you are a god, what some people call higher self, light.
So I don't think that humans are God. I think by telling people humans are God, you're only going to be inflating their ego and making them think they're more powerful than they actually are. No, but I do think that there are a lot of people who will leave Earth's timeline, and this is a person's higher self. If you are someone who is destined to leave Earth's timeline and go into some sort of matrix world, I don't know about a matrix world because I can't tell you. I mean, I've had so many fantasies of there being a matrix world where fairies exist and you can create like a roller coaster using the power of your thoughts. Whatever, anything you see inside the matrix, where you can create, where he goes into a white room and you can create anything. I did believe that. I did believe that is possible, but you can only get there if your soul has developed to a point where you have lots of sort of creativity, lots of imagination, lots of memories and lots of experiences. But I don't know. I can't tell you if this is truth or not. So this might just be fake. It might be a religion. But I feel like this video they have that same belief, and so they've kind of made out that this new world is kind of like the Matrix world.
Light being, pure consciousness, and so on. Some say you are a breath of the Most High, and that makes you powerful, unlimited, and a supreme being.
Yeah, that's just him feeding people's ego. You're a higher being, you're a supreme being, you are everything. I don't think you should be telling souls this.
And you dwell in your own world. Some call it the heavens, spiritual realm, astral realm.
I don't think humans live in their own world. No, I think humans live on Earth, and this is not your world. This is, I guess, it's God's world, but God is not happy with. It's called reality. Souls are right now stuck in reality, but this is how you go from being an animal to being an intelligent species. There needs to be some sort of reality world where you can learn and develop. So yeah, if there's a huge number of mentally ill people on Earth, it's because the souls right now are in a sort of early stage of development. Like a child when they're very, very young might have strange beliefs and not remember things. So that's basically what the human soul is like before they are human, when they're kind of like animals and just developing. So yeah, I wouldn't believe this, because this is not the truth. This is part of the programming that programs people into believing lies. And part of believing lies is to believe that you're something more than you're not. Part of believing the truth is to know that when Christ comes, she's going to kind of explain things, hence why I'm making this video, because I want to try and explain things. You can I believe that there's a better world and you can get into a better world, but you can only do that by recognizing what the truth from the lie is. And the lie is believing that you are, well, there's loads of lies. It's not just one lie, it's loads and loads of lies. So one of the lies is believing that you're God and that you already control your own reality. This is not true. I think your positive mind and your positive attitude and the ability to work hard, the ability to, work with people who can get you better opportunities, the ability to recognize what a good opportunity is versus a bad opportunity. This all helps your current reality, but you do not control your reality. I have no control whatsoever over my life. And so the idea that you can control your reality, well, I think you must be obviously more successful than me because I haven't been able to control anything in my reality. But I think it's not the truth. I mean, if you think that everything you have done has been in your control, you do realize a lot of people have gone through a lot of suffering, and therefore that can't be the truth. I mean, if your parents raped you when you were a kid, like, are you going to say that was part of your control and your reality and you controlling your reality? No, it's not. I feel like the Matrix controlled it, and maybe it happened to you because you did it to your kids in your past life and it's a sort of punishment. I'm not saying that's 100% the truth, but I feel like this is how the Matrix works. Not by putting people in situations they want to be in, but by putting situations that they deserve to be in, perhaps because of something they did or an attitude they had. Maybe they didn't think that it was wrong for a child to have sex, and therefore they were forced to have it out of sort of the anger of the Matrix saying, right, we're going to punish you for believing these things and stuff. So, but yeah.
Higher dimensions, universe, and so on. It doesn't matter. Humans love to give names to their own understanding. And as a God in the heavens, you are a creator, a mighty manifestor. By your words, thoughts, and beliefs, you can bring anything from your mind to life.
I think people who teach this belief to other people want to teach it because they believe that by teaching it to people, they can manifest it and make it the truth. If they can get enough people to believe in the same sort of reality that we are gods, then maybe this can actually make them a god. And I feel like people who would listen to this and believe that they are a god are really just people that want to believe that they're better than they are, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you need to be realistic, because there's a difference between being a god and believing you're a god. If you are believing you're a god and also believing a ton of sick things, then you are going to start believing that gods are sick and that it's fine to be sick because you want to be a god and you think these things are fine. But if you have correct beliefs, correct views, and you believe that God, you can be a god, well, you probably can be because you have correct views. And yeah, part of the reality and you not being able to control reality is that the God and the Matrix are kind of working together to make sure only the best souls have the potential of being a god. And even if you don't have the potential now, if you had a couple of more lives, maybe you would have more potential because you would have changed a lot. It's very common. You could be a horrible person full of horrible beliefs and then go through a ton of suffering and then come back and be a much better person. So I'm not saying that if you have the wrong beliefs you won't ever be a god, because that's not how it is. It's just me teaching you something for the rest of the timeline so that my higher self can kind of see how you respond to what I say, what I believe, if you believe it or not, and then she can, and with the Matrix help, work out if there is a real potential of being a god.
Whatever you think of, no matter how impossible it may seem, and all you needed to do was to speak into existence.
This is ridiculous. To speak things into ridiculous. You cannot just speak something and it comes into belief or into existence. No. You speak things and you learn things through what you say. You speak things and people can know how smart you are. You speak things and you can teach your proof or your evidence or your reality, your way of seeing things to others, and maybe they'll agree, maybe they don't. But I think, it's more important to listen than to speak. You listen and you become who you are because you learn through listening, and by listening you can try and work out who's more likely to be telling the truth and who's more likely to be not. So I would say it's more important not to speak, because if you are a teacher who has knowledge, you speak. if you are a learner who wants to learn things, you listen. I do like to do both because I've lost all memory of all my other lives and my memory of being a god. So I like to listen and listen and listen, and then come up with some sort of conclusion. And once I've got a conclusion, I like to talk, which is what I'm doing now. I'm talking after I've listened to a bunch of stuff. I haven't listened through the whole video, but I did listen to half of it, and I just felt like I had so much to say that I kind of wanted to analyze it properly using this.
So, due to your love for continuous creation, you created another dimension and decided to experience what it feels like. Some call it Earth, physical, 3D, and so on.
Is it possible for a soul to create another dimension? I think it is, because I think that's how I became a god. I became a god because I was once born on a planet and lived a horrible bunch of shitty lives where I evolved and I learnt, and then at some sort of point I was able to create my own kind of, or maybe I would say it as my soul got so big that it no longer had enough space to live on Earth, and I needed to live somewhere else. And I don't know how I did it, but I somehow managed to get onto a different planet. I somehow managed to create another timeline. Is there a world where you actually learn how to create it? Or I've got a feeling that there's a world where you can share information with other gods. So if other gods come up with great songs or great ideas, you can look at what they're doing and you can copy it. I do believe that in that world, a world where I met Tinny, not that she's been on a timeline, not that but I believe that there is a world. It was a beauty pageant, actually. I had a dream that I met her in a beauty pageant. But if there's a world where they have beauty pageants and all the gods can come together and create some sort of pageant to try and win, I don't know, but in this dream I was actually like one of the underdogs. So I felt like I was very young in this dream, like there was loads of gods that were older than me, and I do not believe that I was the oldest. When I was 20 and Tinny was still alive, or maybe I was under 20 when I was 10 and Tinny was still alive, you know, I feel like I felt like an underdog god at that stage, and I felt like I had no chance of winning one of these pageants. That's what it felt like in the dream. But yeah, I felt like this was a very, very long time ago. But anyway, I don't know if that's a real world or if that's just a dream that I've had. And you know, sometimes dreams can tell you things. Sometimes they're completely useless and just make no sense. But yeah, like that dream I had where I saw a fairy. Someone was she had like 6 different purses, and one of the purses actually had like a fairy attached to it. And then online I saw an image of some sort of fairy corpse or whatever, and they were trying to say it's the Mexican fairy. I don't know. It's an interesting story, but it just reminded me of the dream that I had. And anyway, I don't know what dreams are. I can't say if there's truth into them. They're probably just lies. I don't believe that fairies are on Earth. Do I think they're on a different planet? Maybe. You know, I think it sounds lovely, the idea of making little cute fairies. But yeah, I can't tell you what the truth is because I have no memory of it. So I don't want to just promote lies. But yeah, the idea that you have already created, already in a different dimension, you're already on the fifth dimension. This is not true. This is just humans trying to big up you so that they listen to you. By complimenting you, by telling you you're already a god, they are going to encourage humans to want to listen to you, to want to support you, and agree with you and side with you. So I feel like a lot of this, you know, Christianity did it, you know, telling just believe in Jesus and you'll be saved, you're amazing. And then these people believe, oh wow, I want to keep going to church every day. Why? Because they tell me I'm amazing because I believe in a lie. You know, that's all this is. This is just people telling lies whilst getting lots of admiration for telling lies because they're telling lies that people want to hear and want to believe. But at the same time, there is truth in it. You know, I think that it's possible for a human to become a god, and that happens when you learn how to get out of this dimension. But yeah, I would say that it's two dimensions. You've got the earthly 3D world that we're living in, that's the timeline, and then you have another dimension, which is when you are no longer living on Earth. So if you're living in a different dimension, it means that you're either God or you are not living on Earth. There's one God, that's me. So my higher self is living in a different dimension, but I don't think that any others are. Although I have to admit, Sarah Michelle Gellar, if anyone in the world is from a different timeline, I would put my bets on her. But I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm just saying that it's, and maybe Sarah, no. I would say that Sarah Michelle Gellar would be the only one that I would think has a very high chance of being from a different planet. But if that's the truth, I do not know. I say that because when I was a child, I was really suicidal when I was at boarding school. Like, it wasn't the school that I didn't like, it was just the world that I didn't like. And the studying of history through pictures and stuff, I was in a really bad mental state, and I felt like watching Buffy was like the only thing that I liked doing, and music as well. The boy bands or R&B music, big fan of that. But yeah, she definitely helped me. That program definitely helped me, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well. But yeah, I is she? I don't know. I do not know. I would need to meet her for me to have to understand that question. But anyway, let's go back to this.
Come with me. So what's the difference between the earth and the heavens? The major difference is time and space. So you're saying I'm a god living in the
difference between earth and heaven. Different. I would still say that earth or hell is just when you're living in a bad time, and heaven is when you're living in a happy time. But maybe there is a spiritual realm. I don't know. There could be like the earthly realm and then a spirit. When I was younger, I used to believe in ghosts, and I did look and did study, and I did find some, and I did see ghosts. Probably it might have been as many as 20 different ghosts. That's true. That's not me lying. That's me seeing things that I don't understand. Was it just a mirage in my head? Was it? I don't know. I don't know what it was. Might have been my higher self playing tricks on me to get me to believe in something other than nothing. I don't know. I can't tell you what it was. Did the ghosts recognize me? Some of them did. Like, some of them knew that I was there because they responded to something I did. And sometimes it felt like they had no knowledge that I was there. So I don't know what ghosts are. I can understand lies about aliens because I just don't think they're true at all. But understanding like ghosts and stuff, I don't feel like I know enough about them for me to really comment. But maybe there's a spiritual realm where ghosts live temporarily until they're given a new body. I just don't know. I don't know.
human body in the human world that I created. So why can't I manifest instantly? Why can't I just create anything by just speaking? Because you've forgotten that your world is an advanced virtual reality that you created.
Yeah, that's really bad teaching. So why can't I create or change anything in my life? Oh, it's because you've forgotten that you created your own world. No. It's because you didn't create your own world. You are being born and raised in a world that's not yours, and you can only control certain things, because there's a lot of people that are all growing, and the world needs to be as fair as possible for you and other souls. But yeah, it's probably going to give more advantages to the older souls because they're older and smarter, hence have formed wiser. Just in the same way that if a baby monkey was fighting against a lion versus an elephant or something, the elephant is likely to survive and the baby monkey is not. So the baby monkey is younger. The soul obviously isn't as might not be as developed, or it's not always about size. It's not always about size because sometimes monkeys can actually be smarter than elephants. So but yeah, if something is dumber, it has less or smaller even. Sometimes it has unfair advantages, and that's because of its age or whatever. And yeah, it's a very complex world, but it tries to be fair for everyone, hence why you are not going to get the job that you want because other people want it, and you might not get the house that you want because other people want it. So yeah, the belief that you created your own world is clearly a lie, and you shouldn't believe it. You didn't create it, but that doesn't mean that you won't be able to help form something in the future, but it's a long-term future.
I've heard people talk about the matrix. Some say we're living in the matrix. Others say we need to break free from the matrix. Can you explain what the matrix really means? In simpler terms, the matrix is a program of all you've been taught, whether right or wrong, from when you were born to your current age, either from schools, religious centers, families, friends, social...
That's not true. The matrix is everything around you. It's the trees, it's your body, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's the data around you, and it's the physical world around you. So the matrix is absolutely everything. So it's fine to want to break free from the timeline, but not from the matrix, because if you break free from the matrix, then you're technically not going to be alive. I know Andrew Tate promotes the idea of breaking out of the matrix, but I think he's actually wanting to he's wanting souls to not be anywhere, so that he has a better chance of being favored by the matrix. But yeah, that's part of the matrix programming. But the matrix programming, I think, is mostly controlled by the souls in it. You know, what you learn and what you're taught, these aren't controlled by the matrix. These are controlled by the souls in the matrix that want to do well, and part of doing well is making sure that others don't do well. You know, if there's a lot of people that are at a similar level to you, if they all start falling and believing lies and start believing crap, you know, you're actually elevating yourself whilst others are being put down. Now, it's a cruel way of dealing with things, but that's the matrix programming. But it's not programming. It's not programmed by the matrix, because the matrix is like a computer. It's like AI. It doesn't actually think. It's very, very intelligent and has lots of knowledge, but it's the souls, it's the programmers who actually control. And so yeah, you shouldn't confuse the matrix with the souls that are trying to program you, or program you into thinking or believing in certain lies. I'm going to press stop on this and do a part 2, because it's 30 minutes long, and I don't want the video to break, but I'll do a part 2 on this.